the Jeffrey Dahmer documentary on Netflix, which is quite popular right now, there has been some resurgence of interest in Dahmer's case, and the people that he murdered. And there's been attempts to connect David's murder, my Uncle David Hadaway's murder, with Jeffrey Dahmer's victims. So I will say to you, there is no connection. However, there was interest by the FBI and Columbus Police back in the early to mid 90s trying to connect David's case with Dahmer. This was not something we asked for. This was something that the police and the FBI came to us about. I have a document. I'm not going to share it publicly. Maybe I'll share some screenshots of it, which list some of the cases that may be connected to Dahmer. David's was one of them. And although it's interesting, it's highly unlikely. First of all, even though David fit sort of the profile, he was young, he was 19 years old. The murder was quite brutal. It's hard to believe that number one, Dahmer was in Ohio. There has been no confirmation that he was or wasn't in Ohio in 1986. We do know that in 1978, Dahmer was part of the Ohio State University. He was a student. We know his first victim was in Ohio. But as far as we know, there is no connection between David's murder and Dahmer's. I can see how police and FBI would try to make that connection because, again, when the Dahmer case broke, and I remember this, many of the younger generation don't, so that's why there's so much interest in the Dahmer case, because they're like, oh, wow, this really happened. I remember it. I remember that every police department in the country was typing in young males murdered brutally unsolved. And of course, they're looking at Dahmer to see if there's any connection. David's name popped up on that list. However, there is no connection. That's been flushed out. And basically from the details I've described the case, although David's murder was brutal, it just didn't fit Dahmer's style. If you know about the case or watch the documentary, you know what I mean. So that's the story. If you have questions about it, please let me know. David's killer is still out there, and this case certainly needs to be solved.